between 8 and 12?
Well, very good morning to you and good morning to all the listeners. In checking with my department, that one on the ABC Highway between Warrens and Clyde Walcott, 3 vehicles involved, but a number of other vehicles were there present, but they were involved in the collision. And the injuries were not serious. The reports are that the injuries were minor. But however minor an injury is, it could have been worse. Persons are, like Junior said just now, are driving too quickly on our streets. And especially in the nighttime, like I've said, we have these vehicles with these extremely bright lights. They're going to reduce your vision, and persons need to be careful. I totally agree with Junior comments. We are seeing these increase in accidents often. We're on boats, and especially we're on collisions on the rise again. And something, again, like I said, is causing we're on collisions. You would find that persons are still driving and stuck onto their cell phones, and I'm sure that's going to be a distraction somewhere. And we're appealing to persons, we must appeal to persons to be safe on the streets, especially pedestrians as well. Shane, just for a very minute, you would find now that pedestrians have more time to just walk across your vehicle as if it's a pedestrian crossing when there's none. For example, at these traffic lights at Swan Street and Prince William Mystery Junction, that's a pet peeve of mine. Persons are just jaywalking across there, and someone is going to get seriously injured before long. So persons need to be careful. We are very concerned. Our 5 fatal accidents so far for the year, and we're asking our motorists, please, think of lives when you're on our streets.
Yeah, just a lot of bad practices and people just not paying attention on our roads. I see it a lot in Bridgetown. I didn't hear all of what you said, Sergeant Johnson. Is that an area which is a cause for concern for you, especially where the traffic meets just after you pass Parliament at the stoplights near the Treasury building?
There's a grave concern at that Marhill Street, Bridge Street, and Trafalgar Square Junction. Persons just, I don't know if they don't see the lights, I don't have a care in the world. Once there's a grey light for motorists, you'll find that. I've been abused there already, and then I was driving the police. When I say abuse, persons use not really all kind of language, foul language at sometimes, but not insulting language where they can be arrested. But they would say, you can't have it, you're going to knock me down. No, I have the green light and I'm turning. But persons said jaywalk across it and think they have the right of way. But I am saying to pedestrians at a traffic light controlled by, at a crossing controlled by traffic lights, the motorists will have, once there's a green light for motorists, the motorists can proceed. What I don't like though, for drivers to stop at green lights and allow pedestrians to cross the road. That can cause some problems, wrong collisions, etc., and even more serious than we think. So that's the message I want to remind persons: do not stop at a green light to allow pedestrians to use the pedestrian crossing. You're going to have problems. Being the driver at the rear will see that there's nothing ahead, and he continues, and then you brake suddenly on him for a pedestrian, then there's a round collision. So these are things that we're trying to warn persons about. And once you're speaking of the city, just the area of Scotiabank on Broad Street. Scotiabank is there next to the other bank, there at the junction of Prince William Street, are controlled traffic lights. And you will find several persons going between Scotiabank and the other side of the street instead of using the traffic lights next there on Prince William Street, which is about 15 meters or so away. So I think safety is paramount, and persons need to think of safety when they're making these kind of decisions.
Before both of you go, I want to get your take on this situation. I know the police have been focusing on those breaking the law, mainly the motorists. Is it now time for a crackdown on those pedestrians who clearly flout the law, especially at those pedestrian crossings where there are stoplights and crossing lights as well?
Yes, I believe, because that's jaywalking, and you should only cross when it's safe for you or when you have the right of way. But other than that, that's jaywalking. You are not allowed to do these things, but it's happening. So it's always good to send a strong message to persons who do this, and those commuters who board public service vehicles or disembark from public service vehicles other than at a bus stop. In 1994, I've seen, and I'm well aware of some charges which were preferred to some commuters already and were convicted for boarding public service vehicles and disembarking other than at a bus stop. It's an offense called aiding and abetting the commission of an offense, and that was done. So public service commuters, you know, it can easily be reported as well, but That's just a reminder. We just want to remind persons to be safe at all times.
Junior, your take, is it time now to get tough on pedestrians and commuters in this regard?
Absolutely. In fact, every pedestrian who jaywalk, as the sergeant said, and I agree, should be ticketed. In fact, I have said before, and I'll say this again, in terms of the PSVs, every single PSV operator or driver, once all of them go to the specific bus stops or designated areas and do not stop for any passengers, everybody will be forced, like the overseas jurisdictions, to go to the respective areas. But quickly before I go, there is a trend coming in that I need to speak about quickly in a few seconds. And it has to do, it appears, that people are just taking up a vehicle and starting to teach their family to drive. What is most disconcerting is that even with the COVID restrictions, including yesterday, I saw some people who may not be regular instructors training people, and more importantly, wrongly, because the Road Traffic Act is clear in terms of training any student. I saw somebody recently with 3 people in the vehicle. One, the driver, the instructor, and 2 more people in the vehicle. You cannot train like that. It's against the law. And you're getting people who are learning to drive in a situation where they can be reported easily. And it's coextensive liability. So you need to understand that any person in this country teaching anybody to drive, you must have, if you're going to teach 2 people at a time, the second person must have a valid learner's permit. In other words, you can't drop your grandmother to church, you can't drop your uncle to the supermarket, and you can't drop your mother to the gym. That's against the law. And I've been reliably informed that relatively recently, a number of students with instructors were reported for being on the highway at the wrong time. And imagine that you're learning and you get a report even before you get a license. That is cause for concern, and I'm very, very concerned about it. Those of you who know you're doing it, stop it. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're
Absolute
out of time,
pleasure.
but so much still to delve into on this issue. Sergeant Johnson, too, thank you for the update late last night. I know you were busy monitoring the situation. Gentlemen, you stay safe. We will see you next time.
Thank you. All the best.
Absolute pleasure.
Yes, my pleasure. We'll take a break here. We got some more breaking news coming from our newsroom about a shooting overnight, and we'll get into those COVID-19 updates. Before we get into those COVID-19 updates, we hear that police are investigating a shooting incident at the grotto near Dalkeith St. Michael last night, which left 2 men nursing gunshot wounds. CBC understands that the victims, ages 21 and 29, were aligning at a bus stop with 2 others shortly before 8 o'clock when 2 unknown men passing by opened fire in their direction before fleeing the scene. The younger man was shot in his left leg, while the older gentleman received an injury to his right leg. Both were taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance, where their injuries were said to be non-life-threatening. In our COVID-19 updates, Barbadians are being assured that none of the COVID-19 vaccines received from India has had to be dumped. The assurance is coming from the co-coordinator of the National Vaccination Program, Major David Clark. He says all of the vaccines received with an expiration date of May 29th, which was Saturday, were administered.
Barbados has not had to dump any vaccines. In fact, the uptake in Barbados has been extremely good. I think the average return for second vaccines is about 94%, based on the numbers I saw last night. It means there are 6% of people who have either, for different reasons, haven't come back and may still come back. So I think that's extremely good. When I started this process, I understood that normally it's a 70% return rate for the second vaccine.
Now, as we look at the COVID-19 numbers here in Barbados, there were 5 new cases, 2 males and 3 females. That was recorded by the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory on Saturday. They were identified from 513 tests conducted, and there are currently 41 people in isolation. Barbados has recorded now over 4,000 COVID-19 cases, 4,017 confirmed cases to be exact since the start of the pandemic. 47 people have succumbed to the virus. A total of 170,146 tests have been carried out by the Public Health Lab. Meanwhile, under the national vaccination program, 77,946 people have been vaccinated against COVID-19. These include 60,443 persons who have received both doses. Returning St. Lucian nationals who are fully vaccinated from COVID-19 and have a negative PCR test do not have to quarantine. That's the word from the authorities there, who announced a number of major changes in the latest COVID-19 protocol advisory in St. Lucia.
In a surprise turnaround, the government of St. Lucia announced late Friday what it calls amendments to the COVID-19 protocols. The following changes take effect as of Monday, 31st May. A holder of a valid liquor license may permit a person on licensed premises to consume intoxicating liquor between the hours of 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. A competitive sporting activity may be permitted within a controlled facility with spectators on condition that persons in attendance are fully vaccinated. Competitive sporting events or activities must receive approval from the Ministry of Health. Returning nationals and visitors with a negative PCR test who are fully vaccinated will not be required to go into quarantine, with random testing to be carried out at points of arrival. The release states that notwithstanding the adjustments, the Chief Medical Officer retains the power to place visitors in quarantine in order to protect public health. Social events with up to 50 fully vaccinated people may be permitted after authorization from the Ministry of Health.
Now let's move further from the region as over the weekend, protesters across Brazil took to the streets yet again, demonstrating outrage against the president's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. We hear more in this report.
Protesters across Brazil took to the streets Saturday, demonstrating outrage against President Jair Bolsonaro's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Some chanted "No to dictatorship" and held signs that read "Out with Bolsonaro." Bolsonaro's popularity has plummeted during the coronavirus crisis, which has killed more than 450,000 Brazilians. The far-right leader has played down its severity, dismissed mask wearing, and cast doubt on the importance of vaccines. In Rio de Janeiro, protester Joana Martins said she wants him gone.
Impeachment now. Out with Bolsonaro. I can't stand him anymore. There will be more deaths if he stays on. How many more deaths before there is a political hearing?
The protesters also called for faster vaccinations nationwide. Organized by leftist political parties, unions, and student associations, Saturday's protests in at least 16 Brazilian cities were mainly peaceful. But in the northeastern city of Recife, police threw tear gas and shot rubber bullets.
Now, after a good weekend, we're hoping that you're ready to kickstart your week right here with us on Morning Barbados with Pearson Boyne. Let's hear what he has for you on the other side. Pearson?
Up this morning, we'll ask you, what is a bookstagrammer? The answer to that, you'll meet one in just a little while when you join me on Morning Barbados. We'll also continue today delving into the culture and the customs of Ghana. As she's back, the president of the Ghana Association of Barbados to continue to enlighten us as to how they live and what they do. And with our conversations on CARICOM today, we want to take a look at freedom of movement in particular and how one can benefit from that. That and a whole lot more when you join me on Morning Barbados. Back to you, Shane.
Thank you so much, Pearson. And when we come back after this break, we're getting you ready for the Atlantic hurricane season. We'll tell you how the district emergency organizations have been shaping up. Tomorrow marks the official start of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, and as a result, hurricane preparedness efforts are at an advanced stage across Barbados. A check with the District Emergency Organization discovered that most of the vulnerable spots in St. John had already been visited in the company of the Barbados Fire Service. And after a strategy meeting yesterday, the chairman of the St. John DEO, John Haynes, told CBC News that training sessions are also in place.
That training session, we're looking to see where our weak spots are, and we've done some of that already in terms of getting information into our EOC, which is situated at the BRC building of the church. And we will go around the parish after we do the in-house work. We go around the parish and look to see exactly where are those areas that we might have poor information coming in and try to enhance them.
Damage Assessment Officer Rodney Garns, meanwhile, said the training sessions are not only for the St. John District Emergency Office, but for everyone, especially new members, without the fundamental skills of hurricane preparedness.
In relation to the training, basically we would not only keep it in-house to members, but we'll be reaching out to other community organizations and other DEOs because communication is critical, and having everyone on the same page and knowing how to communicate, I think would argue better in terms of a disastrous situation.
Over 200 Bajan dogs and cats landed safely at the Toronto Pearson International Airport on Saturday evening, where some of them have already been placed with foster families. This comes after yesterday's historic Barbados Refugee Project, where a charter flight moved the animals from the local shelters to forever homes in North America. Founder of the Ocean Acres Animal Sanctuary, Kieran Whitaker, says the project has been a huge success.
To Canada, I think it was about 5 hours later, and we were shown photos of them at the airport. There was videos up and everything. We could see all the dogs, they're perfectly fine. And this morning I'm getting photos of our dogs lying on people's couches and beds. So in a very short time, all these dogs who've known absolutely nothing are now pets and living in houses, which is amazing, you know.
Spoke to a CBC team as 4 additional puppies left the island yesterday with the assistance of a generous Canadian family. And she says 2 of the puppies were already rescued from a well back in April.
I think it was about 5 weeks ago. You might have heard the story. There was 2 puppies that had been put down a well, and we had to get the fire service out to get them out. Well, that's just in Ambriana, and they're in there now. So They're looking much better than they did that now. They're perfectly healthy and ready to go and have a new home. And it's amazing how these dogs, they turn around so quickly, you know, they have such bad starts. And you would think that there's no future for them, but honestly there is, and they make wonderful pets and companions.
The Jamaican government came under fire this weekend after the circulation of videos showing scores of partygoers breaching COVID-19 protocols at a popular tourist attraction in Negril, and that made rounds on social media. The health and tourism officials there say no permission was granted for the event to go ahead. We hear more in this report from TVJ.
Mocha-Fest 2021 brings together partygoers from around the globe to Negril, Jamaica. The event was initially cancelled in 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but it was back again on the agenda. Officials from the Ministry of Tourism say permission was not granted for the event to be hosted. However, on the Visit Jamaica website, which is operated by the Jamaica Tourist Board, the party was still being promoted up to Thursday. It was subsequently taken down. We've been trying to get officials from the Jamaica Tourist Board to comment via phone, but that has proven to be unsuccessful. However, senior strategist in the Tourism Ministry, Delano Sivrite, in a tweet, said that the ministry is appalled and a full investigation has been launched. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, also commenting on the party via Twitter, said neither the Savannah Lamar Health Authority or the Ministry of Health and Wellness gave permission for the event to be staged. The Tourism Product Development Company, TPDCO, has since revoked the COVID-19 compliance certificate of Rick's Cafe. In a statement released earlier, the company said that the Tourism Product Development Company Limited, TPDCO, wishes to advise that further to the breach of COVID-19 health and safety protocols at Rick's Cafe in Negril, TPDCO has withdrawn Rick's Cafe's COVID-19 compliance certification with immediate effect. It says the popular Western Jamaica hotspot will be required to undergo a recertification exercise to ensure strict adherence to the established COVID-19 health and safety protocols before it can be allowed to accept visitors again. The operators of Rick's Cafe has since apologized for the overcrowding. In a statement, it said, quote, "The event became crowded than expected under current protocols for entertainment venues," end quote. But it says some COVID-19 measures were carried out to include temperature checks, hand sanitization, and face masks were required for entry. However, based on the video circulating, there were a limited number of masks worn at the actual event. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Let's go to sports now, and Barbadian Zane Maloney is now second in the driver's standings in the 2021 Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. The 17-year-old, who started 10th on the grid in race 2, worked his way through the pack to finish 6th for our race GP team at the Paul Ricard track in France yesterday. It wasn't a carbon copy of his performance in Monaco, but Maloney gathered 10 points to add to his 15 from Saturday for a tally of 87 points for the season so far. That means he's just 23 points behind the winner of yesterday's race, Gregor Saucy. Saucy bounced back from being disqualified on Saturday to take the checkered flag in 33 minutes, 15.012 seconds. Let's take a look at some of those highlights.
As the lights go out and we are away and racing for round number 4, race 2 here in Paul Ricard, and getting on the front foot immediately there is Gabriele Mini to the left of picture, dives to the outside of teammate Gregor Saucy. Can he take the lead? He's certainly going to go for it. Gabriele Mini side by side with Saucy here, but Saucy just about holds on. In the background, third car in queue, that's Michael Belov in third place, and then in fourth, the first of the Arden cars, which is William Alatalo. Alex Quinn was trying to dive to the outside of someone there. Let's hope they can all get through safely, but after challenging for the lead, Gabriele Mini now finds himself on the back foot. Then it's Belov next, Alatalo after that. We've got a car running wide there, that's Zane Maloney, who's going to rejoin and actually recover all his positions back. So good driving there from the Barbadian as they come onto the Mistral straight for the first time. But one thing we...
Well done to Zane Maloney again. The next race will be next week. We will keep you updated right here on CBC Sports. Time now to look at the weather. The temperature is already 28 degrees Celsius on the outside and feeling a bit warmer as it's mostly sunny and windy, and the relative humidity stands at 62%. The barometric pressure is 1016 millibars, and those winds are coming out of the east pretty brisk today at 40 kilometers per hour. We'll get a high tide first this morning at 9 minutes after 7. Then you'll see a low tide this afternoon at 6 minutes after 2. Those seas are calm to moderate in open water. Swells are between 1.5 to 2 meters right now, but you can expect them to increase. We'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds here in Barbados today with a few brief isolated light showers. And tonight it will be partly cloudy, no showers in the forecast. Over the Lesser Antilles, it will look like this. After a few brief early morning isolated showers, it will become mostly sunny there after mid-morning. And tonight it will be mostly clear over the Lesser Antilles at first, becoming clear to occasionally cloudy with a few scattered showers. They will come mainly after midnight. And internationally, it's all double digits as we're moving into summer. 24 the high in London, 27 it's up to that in Frankfurt under some sunny skies. It's also sunny in Montreal today as they get up to 26. Cloudy skies in Toronto with showers, but they're getting up to 26 too. And in New York and Boston, the maximum temperatures 30 and 28 degrees Celsius respectively. For this edition of the Morning Report, I'm Shane Seeley. Morning Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday, the 31st of May, 2021. I'm Pearson Bowen. This is Morning Barbados. Good morning to all of you everywhere. For those of you watching us on our Facebook stream, CBC Barbados and Morning Barbados, wonderful having you company. Welcome. It's a brand new week. And then for those of you on our YouTube channel, Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, absolutely wonderful having you there too. Welcome again. Today, we'll take a look at some of those things concerning our chief executive officers and leaders in business as we take a look at leveraging change for growth in the Caribbean, as we get to hear more about the trilogy of people, product, and profit. How do we work all of that together to be of some benefit to everyone? We'll also today take another look at enrollment at the University of the West Indies. There is an appeal for those of you who are still not yet registered to register and enroll in the University of the West Indies to engage in lifelong learning, as they say. But let's get started this morning as we answer that question for you. What is a Bookstagrammer? Joining us this morning is Cindy Allman of the Book of Sins. What a name. Good morning to you, Cindy Allman.
Good morning to you.
You're right to laugh. What a name. Book of Sins. When I heard that, my first thought was the spelling S-I-N-S. And I thought, why? Why would somebody write a book called Book of Sins? Clarify it for us if you care.
So my name is actually Cindy. So I figured and my friends call me Sins. So Book of Sins. And that's where I talk about all things book. But I do get that. Why would you spell it Book of Sins? But it's not.
Okay, thanks for the clarification indeed. But you're what they call a Bookstagrammer. And, you know, we teased people about what is a Bookstagrammer. So how would you respond to that question?
Okay, so there are a million different parts of the internet. You have a lot of people who are travelers, people who travel, and on Instagram you have people who talk about books, and they're called Bookstagrammers. So all we do is post about books on Instagram, and we're called Bookstagrammers. And people who talk about books on YouTube are part of the BookTube community. So there's a whole community of bookish people on the interwebs, and we exist.
Oh my goodness me, look at that. And there's a huge population for it as well. But what you seek to do through your platform is to bring Caribbean readers together to read Caribbean books. Why did you think it necessary to do so?
Well, on the bookish calendar, there are so many different people who are celebrated. You have the Asian Pacific Islanders who have a whole month to themselves. You have Black History Month, and I figured, why not have a month where we read Caribbean books? And we started this 3 years ago, and we're heading to our third year, and we've seen like a massive group of people reading Caribbean. We've seen so many Caribbean writers who are getting awarded internationally. We have Sherry Jones out of Barbados,
yes,
who was longlisted for the Women's Prize. How the One-Armed Sister is a favorite amongst bookstagrammers and the reading community. So it's just been great to see how Caribbean authors are really performing worldwide, and I feel like a lot of people in the Caribbean think that we're still reading 1920s or the 18th century Caribbean literature, and that is not true. There's so much to choose from. So that is what we're doing, trying to like open up the world for Caribbean readers, that there are so many books for you to choose from and to read.
Isn't it so interesting to you, Cindy, that so many people seem to be writing today and really distilling all of their thoughts to books, and they're being published? Yeah. Isn't that shocking to you?
Well, not shocking. I think what is shocking is that a lot of people are not knowing about this, that there's so many different books to read. Like you have Caribbean authors who are writing memoirs, Caribbean writers who are writing about folklore, who are writing about contemporary Caribbean life, who are tackling mental illness, who are tackling gender-based violence. Like there's so many topics that's been discovered and been written about, and we have like a huge platform of writers from the Caribbean who are literally writing their truth, and we have readers who are looking to read these books. So yeah.
So what got you started, though? I'd like to know a little bit more about you, Cindy Allman, who decided one day to do this. Are you yourself an author, or are you just an avid reader?
They say those who can't write read. They don't say that. I don't know if they say that. Yes. But I've always been a reader. Growing up, I've just been one person that's always read. Like I'm the person that read all the book lists before the semester even starts. My father actually worked at a bookstore in Jamaica, so I got books a lot of times. So I've always read, and 3 years ago I was like, let me start this page where I just talk about books. And because I feel like all my friends were like, okay, we get it, you read. And I'm like, there must be a community of people who just love reading and talking about books. And I found that on the Bookstagram side of the interwebs.
Well, that's so fascinating. And you're quite right. You know, there's the writer, and then there's the reader. Once there's a demand, there must be a supply. And so we're seeing more and more people in the Caribbean reaching for books written by the people of the Caribbean. I think that is so very, very good for the future of Caribbean writers and authors indeed. So what's the last good Caribbean book you've read?
So many, but you know what, because I'm on Barbados TV, I'm gonna go with How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House. It is only right. I can't be on here recommending a Jamaican author.
That's fair.
But I loved this book so much. It was actually a Book of Sins book club pick, and I think Sherry Jones did such a great job of writing about a community, the Back to the Beach community, what they were going through, and she raised so many great important points that I feel like a lot of people should really pick this book up and read. So this was one of my favorites so far for the year.
Well said, well done, Cindy, for sure. We're going to love you for that. But you know, once we've picked up a book and we've read it, what do you want us now to do?
I'd love if you could go and tell your friends, tell your families, buy a book to support the authors, because they keep saying that Caribbean authors don't sell, and that is not true. So I would love for you to talk about it on your social media, create awareness, follow the Read Caribbean hashtag to see more book recommendations from Caribbean people in the bookish space and Caribbean writers. So that's what I'd love for you to do, to post, talk about it, and people are like, I don't read. Yes, you do. You just haven't found the right book for you.
Point taken. The month of June is recognized as one of those months in which we read a lot, and we read even more so about ourselves. How are you going to be, through the Book of Sins, how do you use your avenue to be able to you know, in the month of June, bring greater attention to what is available, because sometimes if we don't know, we don't know.
Yeah. So for the month of June is Read Caribbean month, and for all of that month, I'll be posting. I have over 60 Caribbean-based bookstagrammers in the Caribbean and in the diaspora who will also be talking about Caribbean titles. So we'll have like a huge platform to just talk about Read Caribbean. We also will be having author panels every Sunday evening. So if you're not sure if you like a book, if you're new to the space, you could come to this panel discussion to hear more about the writer and what they wrote about and why they wrote about that, so you could get more insight into the book itself. So we're creating a lot of awareness. We have just like people who are coming on board to read more, who have put aside their Caribbean reading stack to read that in June. So yeah.
So June is a full month where we take full focus on who we are and our authors and the books that describe us. Yeah. Because as you read the book, you'll see yourself, perhaps, between the pages of somebody's novel. And that's the beauty of the whole thing. Because you are approaching a number of themes. I know over time you've looked at women's issues in relation to women and issues relating to children and society in general. And from your collection of books, therefore, could you break it down into certain segments so that we get a sense from this vast collection you have what we will be looking at in June?
There's so many themes. I feel like currently there have been an increase of Caribbean writers that's writing folklore. I know that Shakira Bourne of Barbados also reads Josephine and the Sea. Yeah, so like we're seeing a lot of Caribbean writers who are writing about Caribbean folklore. And that's something, and fantasy, and that's something that I love exploring, because growing up you heard about these stories, but actually taking up a book as an adult and reading about these stories that you're told as a child, it really does hit differently. I feel like a lot of Caribbean authors are exploring mental health, they're exploring generational trauma, family secrets, these things that we don't talk about. They're exploring gender-based issues. There's so contemporary Caribbean life, what that is like. They're exploring immigration. So many different topics are being explored, but I feel like immigration remains one that's literally not like every single Caribbean author. There's some element of immigration, someone that leaves. There's the whole barrel children, what the opportunity cost of that is like. Yeah, I could go on and on, but Caribbean writers are writing widely on many different topics. Like, you will not be bored. I promise you that.
It sounds that way already. Cindy Allman, who is from the Book of Sins. So where can we, what platform, give us the handle so we can find you and find it in the month of June.
Okay, so I'm on Instagram and Twitter as Book of Sins, Book of CINZ. I'm also on the internet as www.bookofsins. Also, if you want to find the hashtag, just type into Instagram hashtag Read Caribbean, and you are exactly where you need to be.
All right. Cindy Allman, we have to leave it there. Thank you. Your energy alone tells us that, it's something we have to do. We have to start reading, and we have to start reading about ourselves. So, Cindy Allman, all the best as always. As the month of June looms, we will start to read the pages of the books of those written by us, about us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good day.
Likewise, Cindy Allman, who is the leader behind the Book of Sins. You can find her on Instagram, find her on social media, and let's get cracking. We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, a chance for you to win with Beep this Monday morning.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
BB, let's do this. 228-5562 or 228-5562. 5563, a chance for you to win with Beep. We keep it clean with Beep, and as we do so, you win with Beep. I have a question. Do you have the answer? Today's question for you to win a gift basket compliments of Beep is, what is Beep's slogan? What is Beep's slogan? Come talk to me, 228-5562 or 228-5563. What is Beep's slogan? I hope you know for real. You get a gift basket chock full of all of a whole range of products produced with the brand Beep. So 228-5562 or 228-5563. The question is, what is Beep's slogan? Do you know? Do you know? 228-5562 or 63. Come on very quickly. What is Beep's slogan? Keep it clean, get a chance to win with Beep. And Beep comes in has a lot of products for real. You know, like cleaning products, sanitization products, a whole set of things. You know, you go to the supermarket perhaps more than I do. So you get to see what's available from Beep. So 228-5562 or 228-5563. What is Beep's slogan? Tell me when we got someone. 228-5562 or 228-5563. So, y'all don't know? No one knows? I'm shocked. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What is Beep's slogan? If you don't know, I am embarrassed for you. But we got somebody on the phone. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
You okay? So what is Beep's slogan?
Beep for a healthy, happy home.
For what?
Beep for a healthy, happy home.
You reading something?
No, I'm not.
So you made it up?
No, I didn't make it up. I see it come over on TV.
You saw it on TV?
Yes, please.
And you're absolutely certain you were watching everything correctly?
Correctly, yes, please.
And you thought that when you saw that you should memorize it?
I thought that.
Why would you want to memorize something like that, for real?
I don't know why. For some reason this morning I said, I believe this is what they're going to come with this morning.
Look at you. What church do you go to? The church of what?
I go to Western Light, Church of Nazarene.
So somehow you had providence given to you today to say, I think they're going to ask that question, and you thought I should learn the slogan. You're smart, girl. You're really smart. But it's Beep for a happy, healthy home. Turn the two H's around. For a happy, healthy home, you're absolutely right. What's your first name?
Oh, thank you so much, Pearson. My first name is Ramona.
Hey, Ramona. What a beautiful first name. A good old-fashioned name, eh?
Yes, please.
All right, Ramona, you stay on the phone right there. Don't put down. And we'll take some other information from you. Remember, you can collect your gift basket compliments of Beep between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. working days. Only on working days. So congratulations to you indeed. She's absolutely right. As we kept it clean this morning with Beep, the answer is Beep for a happy, healthy home. That's it for today's Keep It Clean with Beep. See, here I am again, looking a little bit different, right? Let's look at the time. It's now 13 to go to the hour. Let's take a walk into CARICOM now as we get into our conversations on CARICOM with Ambassador David Commichon. Good morning to you, Ambassador Commichon.
Yes, good morning, Pearson. Pleasure to be here.
And it's so ironic that we're having this conversation today because we've been having a lot of conversations with the Barbados Accreditation Council on the whole question of the National Skills Certificate. So let's talk about freedom of movement within the region, and more the Caribbean people are asking for the opportunity to be able to move among the region and work in the region. Where are we now on that?
Yeah, well, to me, this is central to the whole integration project. Because first and foremost, the Caribbean Integration Project must be about the people. It must be centered on our people. And clearly for our people, one of the main benefits they want to get from the whole integration project is the ability to move, the ability to move across the region in search of greater career and life opportunities. And so the freedom of movement regime, whether it is the skills, the movement of skills, the right of establishment, the right to move as a self-employed person to establish your business or trade, or the right simply to move as a person who provides services on a very temporary basis. This is critical. And if we take it right back and we root it in our history, we were the quintessential slave societies where one thing you did not have as an enslaved person, you were restricted. I mean, that was the mark of slavery, the restriction. You did not have the right to move. So our integration movement is giving our people the right to move. And I am very clear that the Barbadian people must embrace this right. After all, Barbados is the chair of the Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on the CSME. We have primary responsibility for the CSME. We need to embrace all the benefits that the CSME can bring. And one of the things I want to do, I want to encourage Barbadians who have the necessary qualifications or the necessary skills to go and get their CARICOM skills certificate. This is mine. I got mine in 2018. I qualify. This was issued to me by the Barbados Accreditation Council.
Right.
I qualify under the category of a university graduate. So right now there are 12 categories: university graduates, artists, musicians, sports persons, media workers, nurses, teachers, artisans with a Caribbean vocational qualification, holders of associate degrees, or even if you have two CAPE subjects, that would qualify as an associate degree, household domestics with a Caribbean vocational qualification, and the final two categories that were recently added, agricultural workers and security guards. But these two, although Barbados has put those two into our own legislation, and incidentally, Barbados is the only country thus far that has legislated all 12 categories, but those final two are not yet operational because we're still working on issues pertaining to their definition and so forth.
Right.
But I want to encourage Barbadians who qualify under the 10 categories that are now operational. And mind you, about 4 of the categories do not call for formal paper qualifications. They just call for that you must possess the skills: artists, musicians, sports persons, and media workers. We could talk a little bit more about that. But go to the Accreditation Council there in Green Hill by Manor Lodge. Take in your qualifications, your birth certificate, your passport, get the application form. It's only going to cost you $100. But once you get this, you are now qualified to work and live in any CSME participating country, and that's all the countries of CARICOM, with the exception of the Bahamas. You're entitled to work and live without the need for any work permit. And yes, so even if you have no immediate plans to leave Barbados, to work and live elsewhere, it's still good to have it.
Because the opportunity can present itself.
Arises, you're ready.
There are people who will be concerned, obviously, for immigration. It's well and good, I'll have my certificate, but then when you get to the other side, there are people who would want to query whether or not you're legitimate in entry. And being to us today, with this certificate, what?
Yeah, once you have your certificate issued by the Barbados Accreditation Council, you travel to the other CARICOM country. The immigration there, under the revised treaty, they are obliged to give you a 6-month stay. And during the course of that initial 6-month stay, it's then your duty to go into the accreditation body in that CARICOM country. You show them your skill certificate issued by our Barbados Accreditation Council. They will verify that it's not fraudulent, it's an accurate certificate. And once that is done, they will indicate to their immigration authorities that you qualify, and then you must get a stamp. You must get a stamp in your passport indicating that you have the indefinite right to live and work in that CARICOM country. and that's it.
People want to know why are we pushing this freedom of movement? We're happy here. Why are we pushing this? What do you say to them?
Okay, I like to use your profession as the most appropriate example.
Sure.
Right? We have one television station in Barbados. So if there's a young Barbadian who wishes to be a cameraman, a TV presenter, a news editor, a television journalist, the opportunities are limited because there's only one television station in Barbados. However, you go to Trinidad, maybe 7 or 8. You go to Guyana, several. Jamaica, several. So there are opportunities all across our region. So where there might be restrictions in Barbados, you may be able to find, greener pastures in other parts of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have to begin to think regionally now. We should not simply be restricted simply to think in terms of Barbados. So this is a gospel that I preach. For example, my daughter, Aisha, dancer, choreographer, the leader of Rhythm Tribe, a group of dancers. I encourage all of them, all of these young dancers, go and get your CARICOM skills certificate. You want to perform as a dancer, to earn money in other parts of the Caribbean. Once you have that skill certificate, it makes it so much easier. You can't be questioned. And actually, a little secret would be that you could actually secure your indefinite right to live and work in several CARICOM countries. It doesn't have to be one.
Right.
So this gives you freedom, the psychological freedom to know that you are not restricted to one little Caribbean island, that this whole region is at your disposal to roam, in search of career opportunities,
yes,
of new life opportunities. It's about psychological freedom as well.
There's an unshackling of the mind, so to speak,
Yes,
so that we can see ourselves really not just moving, but actually be able to benefit significantly from that movement as well. And so the skill certificate will help in that process as well. You are devoid then of the challenges. Look at that, look.
Yeah, but this is the other part of it.
The
other part of it is the protocol on contingent rights, because this is very important as well. And this was languishing for a long time. CARICOM couldn't seem to agree on it, and then Prime Minister Motley came, took charge of the CSME in 2018, and she really pushed the adoption of this. This complements the freedom of movement, because this now applies to your spouse, to your dependent children, if you have dependent parents. This says that whereas I may be the primary person moving, I may be the skilled national, or I may be the one moving to establish a business, but if I move, this protocol on contingent rights says that my spouse is entitled to move as well.
Fantastic.
And my spouse, having moved, is entitled to work, and my dependent children are entitled to primary education on the same terms as the national of the country that I moved to. And Barbados has gone a little further. We have said not just primary education, we're going to give you secondary as well, up to the age of 16, on the same terms as any Barbadian citizen. And we're also going to give you access to primary health care on the same terms as the Barbadian people enjoy it.
Right.
So this is an important part of it as well. It takes account of the family.
You do this to me every Monday. You leave me them wanting more. Ambassador Camishaw here, right at the top of the page right here. I can't go any further with you at the moment. But clearly, again, this is another one to be continued, because it sounds really exciting, the opportunities for all Caribbean people. And Barbadians is one that we ought to take advantage of as well, this opportunity. Thank you, Ambassador, for, again, titillating us. So let's move all in numbers to the Barbados Accreditation Council and begin the process.
I want to see those numbers. I want to see at the end of the year that we hear that we had 2,000 Barbadians applying and getting their skills certificate. That's what we want to see.
You got me for real. I have to go. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Ambassador.
oh yes, and then you can bring your certificates and show it on,
Yes, sir.
on CBC.
That's right. Thank you. Ambassador David
All right.
Kamashong in our conversations on CARICOM. Let's take a look at our good decision of the day today, brought to you by Glucerna with those nutrients to support your immune system. Our good decision of the day says, take your time. Thinking clearly and logically takes time too. When we are under time pressure and short deadlines, or fast thinking takes over instead. Quick thinking might be helpful for small, habitual, everyday decisions that do not require much deliberation or have much risk involved. Nevertheless, if the decision is more complex and important, then take the time to think it through thoroughly. Take your time. That's our good decision of the day, brought to you by Glucerna with nutrients to support your immune system. A break, and then the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And so for that look at the news, once again, here's Shane Seeley.
Yes, here's your 7 a.m. Headline news for this Monday. And there is a suggestion it may be time for a crackdown on pedestrians and commuters who continue to flout traffic laws. It's coming from Sergeant Seabert Johnson of the Police Force's Traffic Department. Here on the Morning Report, Sergeant Johnson has expressed concern that pedestrians, particularly at some city intersections, have been crossing the street even when traffic lights indicate that they should not.
And you should only cross when it's safe for you or when you have the right of way. But other than that, that's jaywalking. You are not allowed to do these things, but it's happening. So it's always good to send a strong message to persons who do this and those commuters who board public service vehicles or disembark from public service vehicles other than at a bus stop. In 1994, I've seen and I'm well aware of some charges which were referred to some commuters already and were convicted for boarding public service vehicles and disembarking other than at a bus stop. It's an offense called aiding and abetting the commission of an offense, and that was done. So public service commuters, you know, it can easily be reported as well.
Meantime, road safety advocate Junior Jordan has raised the alarm about a worrying trend developing on the island's roads. According to him, some motorists are training learner drivers illegally.
Any person in this country teaching anybody to drive, you must have, if you're going to teach two people at a time, the second person must have a valid learner's permit. In other words, you can't drop your grandmother to church, you can't drop your uncle to the supermarket, and you can't drop your mother to the gym. That's against the law. And I've been reliably informed that relatively recently, a number of students with instructors were reported for being on the highway at the wrong time. Wow. And imagine that you're learning and you get a report even before you get a license. That is cause for concern.
The comments come as police responded to 4 accidents in the space of as many hours last night on the ABC highway. One of them a 5-car smash-up along the Warrens-Huddersfield southbound section. There was another accident along the Wildy stretch, as you're seeing here, where 2 vehicles collided, causing some minor traffic delays. Luckily, no casualties or injuries were reported. More gunplay reported over the weekend as lawmen continue investigations this morning into yet another shooting incident which left 2 men nursing gunshot wounds. CBC understands the victims, ages 21 and 29, were arriving at a bus stop at the Grotto near Dalkeith St. Michael with 2 others shortly before 8 o'clock when 2 unknown men passing by opened fire, firing shots in their direction before fleeing the scene. The younger man was shot in his left leg while the older man was shot in his right leg. Both were taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance where their injuries are said to be non-life-threatening. Barbadians are being assured this morning that none of the COVID-19 vaccines received from India has had to be dumped. This assurance is coming from the co-coordinator of the National Vaccination Program, Major David Clark. He says all of the vaccines received with an expiration date of May 29th, which was Saturday, were administered.
Barbados has not had to dump any vaccines. In fact, the uptake in Barbados has been extremely good. I think the average return for second vaccines is about 94%, based on the numbers I saw last night. It means there are 6% of people who have either, for different reasons, haven't come back and may still come back. So I think that's extremely good. When I started this process, I understood that normally it's a 70% return rate for the second vaccine.
And now looking at the latest COVID-19 numbers, 5 new cases of COVID-19, 2 males and 3 females were recorded by the Best Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory on Saturday. They were identified from the 513 tests conducted. There are currently 41 people in isolation. Looking further at the numbers, Barbados has now recorded 4,017 confirmed cases of COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic. 47 people have succumbed to the virus. A total of 170,146 tests have been carried out by the Public Health Lab. Meanwhile, under the National Vaccination Program, 77,946 people have been vaccinated against COVID-19. These include 60,443 people who have received both doses of the vaccine. And that's it for your 7 a.m. headline news. I'm Shane Seeley. Back over to you, Pearson.
Approaching 7 minutes after 7, a break, and when we come back, Crumbs question of the day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It is 8.5 minutes after 7 o'clock, time for you to win now with Crumbs. And our Crumbs question of the day by you calling me on 228-5562 or 228-5563. Answer today's Crumbs question of the day. Today's question of the day compliments Crumbs Bakery. Remember, delicious down to the last crumb. Name for me the 4 types of smoothies sold at Crispy Fried Chicken. Gotcha. Name 4 types of smoothies sold at Crispy Fried Chicken. Name the 4 types of smoothies sold at Crispy Fried Chicken. You have the question. Call me with the answer. 228-5562 or 25563. You get a chance to win now with Crumbs. So 228-5562, 228-5563. Name the types of smoothies sold at Crispy Fried Chicken. Good morning.
Hi, morning, Pearson. How are you?
Hi, I'm well today. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
Oh, I am blessed and highly favored.
Amen to that, sister. You know my name. What's your first name?
I'm Lady D.
Say it again.
Lady D.
Lady who?
D.
Listen, your mother didn't name you Lady. Did your mother name you Lady?
Yes, please.
All right, well, I'd love to see your birth certificate. Lady,
no problem.
So tell me then, what's the answer? Name for me 4 types of these sold at Crispy Fried Chicken.
Well, they're all fruits.
That's it?
Yeah. Orange.
That's it?
Apple. And, well, I go with those 2.
Have you ever been to Crispy Fried Chicken?
No.
I could tell. Because you are so wrong. You are so wrong. Lady, thanks. Have a good day. You're wrong. Let's call on the line. 228-5562, 228-5563 for you to correctly for me 4 types of smoothies sold at Crispy Chicken. Yes. Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. I got the I got the let me see this chocolate.
Go ahead, you got the 4. Go ahead, tell me.
Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and kiwi.
You got the 4?
I got 4 of them, yeah.
So where did you find that answer?
I forget.
No, I got the 4. No, sir, stop. Oh, wrong. My man came on the 4. I got the 4. There's chocolate. No, you're wrong. Let's go again. 228-5562. You guys are fun. 228-5562 or 228-55. Name 4 types of smoothies sold at Fried Chicken. No, all right. So they've got to move on time. Listen. Give them the answer, Andy. Should I tell them? Or should we hold this question? It might come up again. What do we do? Let me give you the answer, folks. Here are the answers. You have mango, strawberry, banana, and ice cream. Those are the 4 types of smoothies sold at Fried Chicken. Mango, strawberry, banana, and ice cream. Go and find out for yourself. Double from Crispy Fried Chicken. But thanks for trying. Good sports. Again, another question for you. All right. It's 12, going on 13 minutes to 7 o'clock now. Moving on, let's take a look now at a very interesting on. I'm sure this is no stranger to you, this campaign, but it needing. We're joined this morning by Suleiman Bulbulia, who is working with the Heart Foundation of Barbados on the campaign, Are We Drinking Ourselves Sick? Mr. Bulbulia, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson.
I'm doing well today. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
And we're doing all to protect our children, right?
Absolutely. This thing that is needed, very much needed.
Why do you say it's much needed?
Because we recognize an Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition working with the Heart and Stroke Fund to sensitize Barbadians to the problem that we have now 1 in 3 children are overweight or obese, and to early onset of type 2 diabetes and a whole NCDs as they get older in life. So we reckon that one of the major causes of this is sugary sweetened beverages, which young people are consuming on a daily basis in numbers that are far exceeding what they really should be eating. And so we recognize the importance of this message out there that we have to look at what we are consuming, especially in sugary sweetened beverages.
So how do we begin to effect this change in how we purchase for our children? What do you want us to start doing?
Well, about 2 years ago was the sensitization process. So we started to bring information to the public. We started to campaign, and ads like this help reinforce the message. But what we also recognized that we had to do was to get ear of those who make the laws in the country to start becoming aware of what's happening and start putting in place legislation. Hopefully from September, we're going to have a nutrition policy for the schools, which will allow for healthier options within the schools so that children would have access now to healthier food options, drink, so on. And then hopefully that will then replicate itself in the wider society where parents then become aware that what they're feeding their children needs healthy, because we want healthy, productive children. And so we hope that the nutrition policy will get on board, will get widespread support from the schools and also from the wider society as well. It is starting there. It's where we want to be. We want to be in the school system where children spend a lot of time. The school meals, also the ministry has promised that they will look at the school meals and make those even healthier. And then getting the wider society to buy into the concept of healthier eating. That's where we need to be.
You know, my taste for whether it's sugary or not starts in the home. And that's mommy, who is generally the preparer of the meals, would determine just what I drink or not. And so how are we going to get down to that where every single household, everyone who has to go into the supermarket, spend money, understands that, you know, the choices you make a long-term impact on your child?
And that's where our mess coming out. And that's where we are looking at other, we recognize as a wider, for example, front of label packaging. That is something that we are pushing heavily. Because when mommy or even daddy in some cases goes into the supermarket tonight, and we want them to understand what they're buying. And oftentimes we're not seeing that product because it's at the back, it's in small print. You don't read small print. And get it on the front of the packaging that says this is high in sugar, high in cholesterol. You will think twice before you buy that. And we recognize, person, that it's a culture. We have grown up drinking a lot of sugar in our tea, sugary drinks. And that taste, once we get it, it's hard off. But you can do it. And once there's a concerted consciousness, then you can do it. And I have proven that to myself, that I don't need sugar in my tea. I don't need to have a sugary sweetened beverage. And what we're saying is that, yes, maybe older people might be doing that, but we want the younger generation also to fall into that pattern, because what we are recognizing is that if they continue that at a young age, it starts to manifest itself in health complications later in life. And sometimes it's not even that later, because we are now, the research is showing us that younger people are presenting themselves with type 2 diabetes, presenting themselves with NCDs and complications. And with COVID now at our doorsteps, it's shown that these preconditions are causing COVID now to affect us even more.
And I think hopefully it awakens the view of the parent to think that, oh, my child is nice and plump, must therefore be healthy. You can't equate plump, or you can't equate thin with unhealthy.
Not only about plump and not plump, it's also about the child, because the child may not be very well, may have certain complications because of what the diet is. They present themselves in that manner. But the other point to this that we're focusing on is not only about what we consume, about what the activity that we do. I mean, as a young person, perhaps you person and myself to run about a lot. No, we don't do that. Our younger generation, we don't run about. We don't want to play cricket on the beach, and we sit at home and we play the games via computer. So the other part of this whole campaign is about what we eat, as well as the activities that we get involved in. And the experts are telling us that if we do a bit of activity every day, 2 hours or a few minutes, half an hour here and a half an hour there, we keep ourselves fit and so on. And so it kind of helps us also in building our immunity and our strength.
I think children model the behavior they see. And so if the adult parent or godfather, mother, whomever, is actively engaged in the particular activity, the physical activity, then the child naturally sees the need to jump off. I know that personally because yesterday, let me tell you, Solomon, I got hired from my godchildren because they had me running up and down the walks. So I know just what it means to them to see the adult in that kind of physical activity. They learn from the example. So campaign also appealing to parents to lead by example, physically active.
Agreed. The campaign is absolutely doing that. And that's the image in the videos that you see and what we put out I must make the point that the NCDs are affecting women a lot and they are affecting men. And so there's a woman as the central theme of campaign, and she is basically, because she's consuming a lot of sweetened beverages throughout the day, she then falls ill later on. And so it is about having adults be aware of what is happening and being the example for their children and setting that example not only by themselves but also encouraging their children to get involved. So, for example, instead of drinking a sweetened beverage, you can encourage your children to drink water and you can fruit infuse the water. And that's why I'm happy to see a number of schools getting on board even before the National Nutrition Policy, and they're encouraging, for example, they had Water Wednesdays and Food Fridays, and a number of schools now are pushing this within the school system. And even a teacher reached out recently and they wanted, for the younger kids, they're doing letters in the alphabet. So when they get to W now, they want to focus on water and how they can deal with water and how you can drink water and enjoy water. So this is what we expect teachers and parents and other persons and guardians in the society to do. Use the opportunity to teach your kids about healthy living through what they are happy to deal with. So if you're teaching alphabet, or for example, recently I saw you had something up on common entrance. What are questions in the common entrance? Are there you had something up recently about pizza? How much pizza? But we can change the questions. We can change the questions to start younger children to start thinking about healthier lifestyles.
There has to be a holistic approach. You're absolutely right. So it's by what we consume, yes, grow, what we teach children, explore the tastes with them, teach them. I had to be taught dunks and grapes and everything else. And so that's the love of all those. We get to experience it and now we know better. How are you with this towards policy acceptance of the approach that you guys want to take?
We are pushing it, and every information that we put out, we tag our policymakers, and we recognize that the image is resonated. Recently, the Prime Minister of Barbados, she mentioned in the CARICOM meeting about eating healthier, eating what we grow in the Caribbean. I noticed the President of Guyana, Irfan Ali, mentioning that Guyana can supply the region with healthy food stuff that grown locally, grown regionally. And so this is the message that we want to get out there and start resonating, that we can eat what we grow within our region. We don't have to necessarily import foods that are full of preservatives and salts and high in sodium and so on. We can start to eat what we grow. And we recognize that once we get the message out, people start to get that taste. And that happened during the COVID pandemic. People started to go back, we recognize, to local ground provisions and local fruits and vegetables. And that we want that to continue.
I join you on that one. We want that to continue. So that's one thing we can do today. Let's get back to ground provisions. Let's get back to eating what we grow, those healthy that we grow, and let's see if we can really protect our children and dying from what we're eating. So thank you so very much, Solia, who is with the Childhood Obesity Prevention Campaign with the Heart and Stroke Foundation, for again just reminding us of the things we need to, as adults, actively put in place to protect our nation's children and also to protect as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Pierce. Thank you.
You're very 23 past the hour of 7, a break, and when we come back, it's for you to win, this time with MCTV. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
8.5 minutes now after 7 o'clock. Time for you to explore the world of MTV. If you haven't already done so, got your packages together, I encourage you today to call us on 228-6288. That's MCTV, 228-6288, to really avail yourself of the range of services and viewing habits that you can engage with. You can get news, sports, soap operas, movies, game shows, anything and everything that entertains you, you can get with MCTV. But today you'll also get a chance to win with MCTV when you right now, call me on 228-5562 or 228-5563. I'll promise you I'll be very gentle with you. 228-5562 or 228-5563, and tell me which channel number is CBTV8 assigned to on MCTV. Give me the number for those of you who are perhaps watching us via MCTV now. Which channel number is CBCTV8 on me? What channel number is that? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Remember, our customer care desk will be open from 8 o'clock this morning to serve you, and our people are there to take your calls and to respond to take you when you come as well. Good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. What channel number?
108.
How you know?
I watch it regularly.
You watch it regular?
Yes.
What do you mean by regular? Me every day?
Yes, it's very good too.
Thank you very much. You know, you're saying the right things. You really want to win this morning.
Yes.
That tells me you do. Do you have MCTV though?
Yes, we do. I do.
What's your favorite channel on MCTV apart from 108?
I watch. What channel do I watch?
Yeah, what other channels do you watch?
I watch AXN, PBS. Most of the news channels.
Oh. Listen,
Yeah,
have you watched TV Land?
I didn't quite get that.
Do you have TV Land in your package?
Oh, I have the basic package.
Listen, upgrade, my brother, upgrade. You know, all of those comedies we've grown up watching and laughing our bellies at? Well, you can find that on MCTV. So call today and get an upgrade. It's really simple. In twos, you'll have the additional channels added to you. All right?
Okay.
What's your first name?
Clyde.
Glenn?
Clyde. C-L-Y-D-E.
Clyde. Okay, Clyde. Right there on the phone, someone will take some information from you, but congratulations to you. You're absolutely correct. TV8 is 108 on your MCTV platform, along with a whole suite of channels, of course. All of these, we're offering you affordable entertainment packages with programming to suit every single member of your household. And it's as simple as calling. It's as simple as coming, signing up. Two tools, you have MCTV installed in your home. Remember, you can call our customer care desk at 228-628 and get more details on the packages we have on offer, because each of them has something in there for you. So well done, Clyde. He's absolutely right. All right, a break, and when we come back to know more about the culture of Ghana.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7:30 and we love this lady, Olympia, who is the president now of the Ghana Association of Continue our Delve into the customs and culture of Ghana. Good morning.
Good morning, Pearson.
How are you today?
How are you
Look at that.
doing?
Great. Listen, you have so many people fascinated by, the last time we spoke, we got really a lot of calls coming through one about Ghana. So let's do that. The last time we spoke also as the babies and the naming of babies and the way you do it.
Yes.
Taking me today, Faith.
Okay, today we just spoke about food and Barbados tangents as eating what they grow. I would want to touch on food. Yeah.
So what foods do you guys eat? Do you eat traditional Kuroni pie in Ghana?
No. I have macaroni pie and other things. I've been fascinated by peace here in Barbados. I've had friends here in Barbados who have given me sauce, the chicken feet and all. It's lovely. It is really delicious. But I must say, when a palate or taste buds for the traditional Ghanaian food, nothing can compare.
Kidding.
Yeah, I love
You've
my
got
Ghanaian
to be
food,
kidding me.
regardless.
So tell me, what would you say to me is a traditional Ghanaian dish?
Okay, so when you come to Ghana, you would realize that we do not one dish across board. But lately, what is trending across all the length and breadth of Ghana is fufu. And initially, you would realize that Ghana, as you are aware of, has a total, they would say, if you divide Ghana into the north and then the south, you would realize that the northern part of Ghana are more into cereals because that's what they grow. They do not have, that's where you see a lot of drought, dry weather, sunny conditions and all that. And maize and all the cereals grow very well over there. And then when you come to the southern part of Ghana, which has a sea, the rivers and all that, you realize that they grow more tubers, more staples compared to that of the north, yes. And most of the time, people in the north are to game and all that. When you come to the south, they are into fishes and meat and all that. So Kelly, you would know that Ghana eats a lot of fufu. You call it
cuckoo.
Cuckoo.
Yeah.
Yes, you call it cuckoo. And lately, I noticed that there is another action. When I came, I only ate breadfruit cuckoo, and then the cornmeal.
Cornmeal, that's right.
But yes, working, I've worked out to eat yam.
That's
cuckoo.
Right.
Yes, and
Green banana
quite nice.
cuckoo. There's also that one.
Exactly. We prepare it differently. We prepare it differently back home in Ghana. Yes. And,
so yours isn't as mine then. Be careful
yes,
how you answer, Faith.
You need to taste mine.
So what's the difference? What's the difference in preparation, you think?
For the preparation, you equally use your green cassava, but with ours, we would want to boil it. You clean it up and then boil it, and it is smashed together. We have a special let's say, I would say an epistle that is used to really pound until it is turned into a different shape and then different form. You don't really get it. The consistency you have your cuckoo is not like what we have. Our cuckoo is quite firm, and you would have to knead it in order to really eat it. And also, I noticed that you would add the okra and everything in there. No, with ours we would prepare soup, that is steamed meat or anything of your choice, that is meat, fish, assorted things, and then you would want to blend your tomato pepper and onions and let's say garden eggs, allow it to cook properly with all the seasonings you want. Ghanaians like chilies. We are spicy people. We love chili pepper. Unlike our friends here in Barbados, I've served people with my jollof and other soup, and you they kept eating it, but they tell Faith, this is too spicy, and you see all the
This
all their
releases the
nose
sinus
drooling and all.
passages,
It's
yes.
really yes, it's really interesting. So with us, we eat with our hands, we eat with our fingers,
Really?
unlike yes, if you are eating vegetables, you would want to really enjoy it. You would really enjoy it by eating with your hands. People out of westernizations, I know.
Yes.
I have somebody who said, Faith, I was really, I saw somebody eating with their fingers. That's not nice. I said, until you will never be able to access to it. But that's really delicious. Yes, and this is a
Yes.
spoon, you know. SPOON, nature.
That is true.
Yes, and you should use it.
Use my natural spoon.
Exactly.
I like that. You said something just now called what's that?
Yeah, jollof rice. Okay, so jollof rice, a West African dish. I will not say it's just pertaining to a West African dish. And when you come to Ghana, you realize that it's different from the chicken pilau. When you go to Senegal, what they have is like chicken pilau because of the color. When you get to Ghana, we blend tomatoes, aniseeds, and everything together. We pour it in hot oil, that's cooking oil, allow it to stew until all the moisture is out. When you can add any meat of your choice, any fish of your choice, you are expected to pour in your washed rice, stir, add a little water, and this type of cook is steaming. You allow it to steam. If you allow it to boil too much, you need the texture you want. So you allow the food to steam, the vapor steams the whole rice. And bear in mind, PSN, this round is not the dark nature you see, because Ghana is a lot of tomatoes and then pepper. So you see it as orange color. It comes out as orange. And oh, PSN, it is really yummy. It is delicious. It is delicious.
You're as though you're missing home already.
Yes. I miss home, but I cooked one yesterday, so I'm not really prepared.
Okay. So what do you drink? Because here, if we were to do that, we'd have some Mobi. Have you tasted our Mobi? Do you know what Mobi
yeah,
is?
I've tasted Mobi. Yes, I've tasted.
Would you have had Mobi in Ghana?
We have what you call sorrel. We call it sobolo. It is made with flour, and because of its properties, it is known to reduce high blood pressure and all that. Again, in Ghana, we have a icy drink called elewonyo, and now elewonyo is made from corn, fermented corn. Okay, so corn is fermented and allowed to the water around it is then brewed, and then sugar, caramelized sugar to it to make a soothing drink. Again, what I called emudro from spice, ginger, cloves, and then black. That is equally sugared, honey or sugar added to it, and then you eat with it, your jollof with it. And it's delicious. You know, emudro is called emudro because it takes out the phlegms in your body. You know, a lot of I know that so much accumulation of phlegms in the body causes a lot of, so you want to get it expectorated out as much as possible. When COVID came, yes, COVID struck Africa, but Ghana was spared in cases.
Fantastic. Good. So, Faith, listen, we have to talk some more, Faith, for real.
So I would want to teach a lot of that. The Ghana Association intends having a food bazaar, and then people can come around when the time is due, when the country is full, to come and witness what we are about to do as people.
I can't wait to taste, experience, to enjoy all that you guys have to offer from Ghana. Thank you so much, Faith Ampia, who is the president of the Ghana Association. This is to be continued, Miss Faith. So we're going further and further about Ghana. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Enjoy your day.
We're going to take a break here. We'll come right back with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
19 minutes now to 8 o'clock as we turn our attention to the work of the TGL Group Projects, as we're welcoming this morning Elizabeth Perry, who is the head of TGL Group Projects Program Design and Customer Experience. Elizabeth Terry, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados.
Good you on this morning. I know that TGL was formed out of crisis. 2020 was one of those defining years in our lifetime. So tell me a little bit about the group.
Okay, so actually TGL was formed about 6 years ago. But we are really the Caribbean's #1 sales force development, recruiting, customer service, and personal development company. And we thought, I have to talk TGL, of course.
Yes.
And so last year, we, in the midst of COVID, we recognized that the only way that we were really going to be able to get through this very difficult period would be to connect the dots, would be to collaborate. And we recognize that in the private sector space across the Caribbean, that there really wasn't a sort of consistent forum where C-suiters, CEOs, senior managers could connect. And so we decided to launch our conversation, C-suite, Caribbean C-suite conversations. And so we launched it in October, and we started out with the theme from crisis to breakthrough. And so we had a tremendous response, and we have decided that it's going to be a quarterly event. So actually we held another one in February around agile digital leadership. And we had Trisha Tannis, who is head of Unicom in Barbados, and she was one of our speakers. So we're really excited to be offering the next one, which is on Friday, June 4th.
The crisis, the pandemic, has really reimagined business, forced us all to start to look critically at what we do, because it's impacting the bottom line, so how we earn, and it's also impacted the way we deliver those services as well. So the agile digital leadership would have required people to start to think a little differently in the spaces in which we operate. And do you sense, coming out of that February experience, that leaders across business in the region are really focusing in, or are they pulling back and wanting to do things as usual?
I think there is a growing recognition that there is no business as usual. It's not normal, and it's not even the new normal. It's actually a completely different experience that we're dealing with. And we have to, as that theme suggested, we have to become more agile. And that particular theme was focused on the integration of ICTs with the whole organization of a business, because everything now, in just a few months, everybody that wanted to survive had to be moving their business online. So how do you do that, and do that in a way that also protects the interests of your people? Which is why this particular one coming up on Friday is focusing on people, productivity, profit, leveraging change for growth, because we really see that the people factor is key. So you can put in all the structures, you can, change your technology, but you have to manage your people. You have to be able to balance empathy with accountability. There are all of these issues that we all of a sudden have been, thrown into this space, and we have to deal with it. So that's what we're going to be talking about on Friday.
It's fascinating, but there's a part of the society that thinks that people are being sacrificed through this crisis because people are looking for simpler ways, using the technology to deliver the services they traditionally would have delivered. And so people are being pushed aside. Is that what you're talking about here when you talk about change?
No, actually, yes, we do. But first of all, yes, there are differences, and as we evolve in this decade, we are going to see that certain jobs are going to drop out. That does not mean that the people that are running the organization are not critical to the success of the business, and will continue to be so. We feel that that is absolutely important. But it is, how do you effectively manage change in this environment. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of your viewers here have been grappling with it on even an individual level. You know, how do you start wearing masks and social distancing and all of these curfews and lockdowns? We've had to change dramatically. And so it's how do you manage that so that you can ensure that your people that are your critical success factor are on board with you, and that you are managing them in a way that is supportive, but yet still encourages them to be accountable. Because in fact, if you're not, and you're not managing performance in a very good way, then it's not going to impact your bottom line positively.
Managing and measuring that customer experience, because they are people too, is also, I suspect, going to be a critical part of what you're going to be engaging with this weekend, Friday.
Yes, on Friday we have 3 wonderful speakers. We have Nigel Edwards, who is coming to us out of Trinidad, and he's the Executive Director of the Unit Trust Corporation. And we have Ladisa James Williams, who is the head of the director for the retail sales of OECS, and also head of the Antigua CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. And out of Jamaica, we have Francis Wade, who is the CEO of Framework Consulting. And he in particular is going to be talking about engaging employees through gamification. So I think it's going to be a really exciting event, and we want to encourage. And of course, I should say that it's complimentary. There are no charges, no fees, and we just want to ensure that the C-suiters and senior management team come out and join us on Friday to connect, learn, and expand their business and their opportunities within the Caribbean.
Does it require registration, though it's free and it's complimentary? How do we register?
Yes, just go to CaribbeanCSuite.com and everything's there.
It's simple. CaribbeanCSuite.com, and everything is there that you need to register for this. I think it's such an important topic, though. People, productivity, profit, leveraging change for growth. And oftentimes people up at that, when you hear the word change, they get scared, stymied. But you're saying, no, we can actually leverage this change for growth. It's to be able now to see how we pull those 3 P's together, help us with that leveraging of change for growth. And Elizabeth, I really want to thank you, and I really hope that every Chief Executive Office, all of you in management, middle management, that you avail yourself of this opportunity to learn from some industry leaders about how do we begin that leverage of change for growth as well, using those 3 P's, both product and profit, to make that change. Elizabeth Terry, thank you so very much for joining me.
Thanks so much, Pearson. It's been a delight being with you.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll take a break here and we'll be back with more.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 10 minutes now to go to 8 o'clock. There are many categories of the National Skills Certificate, the Caribbean Skills Certificate that you can have, one of which is the graduate. And to be graduate, you got to be part of an institution, right? Well, one of those institutions that is encouraging you now to enroll is the University of the West Indies. We're joined this morning by Patricia Atherley, who is Senior Assistant Registrar, Head of Student Enrollment and Retention. Good morning to you, Patricia. Welcome.
Good morning, Pearson. Morning to all the beautiful people of Barbados.
Oh, that's so
Pleasure
beautiful. Likewise. Thank you for coming. Now, I see you're really active after enrollment. I can see it all across social media everywhere. So a little bit about why the push and how can we actually enroll?
Well, I mean, the push is obvious. We need to get as many people as possible as want to get access to the university to be aware of what we offer. That is what the push is about, advertising the programs, advertising the new programs. And we are pretty much nearing the end of our application cycle for this new academic year. In fact, our applications close on the 30th of June. We opened applications the 1st of November last year. We had our regular or early deadline at the end of January. And now, believe it or not, we are about to start June, and this is the last month that anyone who wants to enroll for 2021-22 will have to submit those applications, whether for undergraduate or postgraduate study.
But to know what's available, what are the courses of study? How can one access that information?
Well, the university has a wonderful website, Pearson. As you know, we have 7 faculties represented at the KFIL campus right now. We have the Faculty of Culture and Performing Arts. We have the Faculty of Humanities and Education. That's where they do things like history and linguistics and languages, theology, psychology, education. We have the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and many persons think of, when they think of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, they tend to thinking about, the MBBS degree, which qualifies you to be a doctor, but there are a range of other programs being offered in that faculty as well that have some new exciting programs. There's a new program coming in human nutrition and dietetics, for example, which will qualify persons to be registered as dietitians. There's the Bachelor of Health Sciences, which offers a range of specializations. And, we are actually having 2 webinars, the Faculty of Medical Sciences. The first one this evening, that's for persons outside of Barbados. And then on Wednesday at 6 p.m., any Barbadian who is interested in learning about those undergraduate medical degrees are welcome to register and come and join us for that exciting webinar. They're going to have some taster lectures as well, so they will get a feel of what it is like to be a student in the Faculty of Medical Sciences. We did this very successfully for the Faculty of Law last month, and it was wonderful. The feedback from those persons who participated was great, and we are doing it for the Faculty of Medical Sciences this evening at 6 for the persons outside Barbados, and on Wednesday for Barbadians.
I like that. Taste the lecture. You get a sense of how it will unfold. And so it perhaps enlightens you enough to want to register. And how can we now engage with the virtual information session? How do we find it?
Well, we have best place to go would be to the Faculty of Medical Sciences website. And as soon as they go to that website, that's www.kfil.uwi.edu/FMS, Faculty of Medical Sciences. And it is right there prominently displayed. You can have links there and register, and that's about it.
Simple, Simon. You belong at the UWI. I see that on your chest right there. Let's talk about
you do.
Let's talk about the benefit of a university education. What do you see that to be, or those to be, those benefits?
Well, the benefits of the university education, it really positions an individual to have choices in terms of their careers. The kinds of skills that you develop at the university And we are focusing a lot on preparing our students for what we call T-shaped graduates. So you're seeing a lot more interdisciplinary type programs at the university where the students would get, you know, a grounding in their core discipline, but then they are allowed to do courses in, you know, in a range of other disciplines to really broaden their knowledge and their perspective. And then we're focusing a lot on development of those soft skills as well. You will see from a lot of the new programs that are coming on board that we are blending in a lot of foreign language into the options that students have. This year, for example, the Faculty of Social Sciences has launched a whole suite of new programs in international tourism, and you can do that with French, you can do it with Spanish, you can do it with Portuguese, you can do it with Chinese. They have the same thing, international business with languages. So, you know, creating graduates that will have options. Entrepreneurship is also a big part of what we're trying to embed into our students. It is one of the attributes of what we call the ideal UWI graduate, you know, have that entrepreneurial spirit. So when you leave the UWI with a degree, it is really, you know, that preparation for work, but also to increasingly to create your own work as well, as many of our young people now seem inclined to do.
Indeed. But, you know, education at the university level is not just for the young people. Anyone of any age can enroll. And that's what's absolutely critical. And let's talk quickly about enrollment, though, because, you know, people get scared when they hear that word. They're thinking, oh, my gosh, that's a lot of paperwork. I don't want to do that. Let's talk about how easy it is to enroll.
Well, first, it's easy to enroll, but you're very right. You know that any age is welcome at university. And in fact, we have a wonderful slate of master's degrees, taught master's degrees that are preparing persons for advancement in their careers. So we really encourage persons. I think people might be surprised sometimes at the range of programs that are now available at the UWI, and specifically speaking about at the K-Phil campus. So I would encourage them to visit that website and explore. But in terms of enrollment, it is a very easy process. Everything is done online. So you can go to our website, www.kphil.uwi.edu/admissions. And if you forget that, just Google UWI K-Phil and you'll see apply now. All right, and the application form is online for whatever you're applying, whether it is for an undergraduate degree, a postgraduate degree, continuing a professional development short course. You can submit your application online. When you hit that submit button, they will get an email telling them how to submit their documents, because the documents are also submitted online to specific dedicated email addresses. And I need to remind persons, there's no sense submitting your application if you're not going to follow up with the submission of documents.
So
we have many persons who go through the process of submitting the application form, but that processing of those applications will not happen until those documents are submitted.
All right.
There's a $30 application fee.
Go to the website and you'll find it all there.
Go to the
Patricia Adley, it is so fascinating. Thank you. You know, any other opportunity we have, we'd like to be able to talk to you some more about how one can access higher learning through the University of the West Indies. But I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, all right?
Anytime, Pearson. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. That's it for today. Wonderful day. Likewise, that's it for today, everyone. We want to thank you for spending the time with us. Until tomorrow, take care. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Morning.